Let's pull my guy Somo.
Let's pull up the homie.
Hey guys, how's
Somo, what's up?
yo?
How we doing, man?
Great. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you. We're happy to have you on. This is our normal show, so we just kind of do like a trader segment. We highlight good traders, and we have them kind of share with us how they trade, how they do it, how they make money. You got a pretty big Telegram community, pretty big following on Twitter. People clearly like what you do. So can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah guys, I'm Somo. I'm like 20 right now. Maybe I'm going to be like 21 in like 3 months. So I'm semi old in crypto.
Semi old, 20 years old.
That's crazy.
So I've been in crypto. I've been in crypto. I can say since the early days of DeFi summer. I remember everything from like that crazy times to like the NFT mania and like everything happened back then. So when I started, I had like no idea about what the fuck I was doing. I had no network, I had no capital. I grinded my way through everything like you guys, and I've lost a lot, but I've never gave up. I've learned a lot. And I was really into networking. I was really into like learn about everything from others. So back then it was the back in 2022 it was like the crazy times for like DAOs, and I've kind of started a DAO myself. It was called the VFC DAO. It was a research focused DAO, and back then we had around like 40 to 50 like researchers and like builders who were focused on who were living in Middle East and focused on like crypto and like different areas on crypto. So I was also a research intern in a gaming guild, and that was where I've learned a lot about how you should like how the game theory and like game design works, and like how you should like evaluate startups and projects. So but in the beginning of bear market, I've realized that I need to like start something new, because like there was there was like there was lots of free times. I had no idea what I should focus on. So I've realized I need to like start a new journey. So I was trying to build a crunch base for Web3. My startup was called Long List. And have you guys ever used Crunchbase? You know what's Crunchbase?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a VC tracking private
exactly.
companies, right?
Yeah. It was a VC tracking like startup profiles and stuff. Right now in crypto, we got like Root Data, Misari, acquired Dove Metrics after that, and like they are like very good like uh, platforms right now. But like back then there was nothing. So I've started to like build the whole thing myself, because like back in 2021, 2022, one of the like the way you could find alpha was by tracking like funding rounds. This was the way you could find startups, because like right now maybe we got like 10 new funding rounds each week. I don't know, like maybe 5 new funding rounds, but back then there was like enormous amount of startups launching each day, and like it was very hard to track them. And like we had like lots of VCs, like some of them like was very high quality, like we had like bad VCs and stuff. It was really hard, and like tracking VCs was a very great way to like find startups. So I was trying to build something like that. I've built the whole database myself by learning no codes and stuff. And we were also tracking like startups which just got graduated from accelerators program, because like back then YC and like I don't know TechCrunch, they also had like crypto startups. Besides like the Alliance DAO, we also had like Beacon. I guess it was a accelerators by Polygon. And so during that time, I've started to interview VCs, because like I've learned that I need to know like the future of our possible future customer, what is their pain point. So we interviewed around like 20 VCs back then, and I've learned about like how they are doing like their research, they do diligences on like startups, on like anything in the space. So, but like during the interviews, we realized like these VCs are not gonna pay like I don't know, they're not gonna pay a lot for these kind of tools, because like most of their like investments are coming from their network, or like I don't know, like the founders that they know and stuff. So they're not gonna deal source with these kind of tools. So we kind of stopped that startup after a year. So although we had like some paying customers, but it was not enough to like bootstrap and continue the operation. So after that, I've got into crypto marketing. I've been into crypto marketing, and this is how like I'm in the Safari Club, which is a club for like crypto marketers, and I've networked. I have a like great network in crypto marketing, and I work as a growth marketer in like two projects, and the whole like the process of learning about crypto marketing was self-education. I've never been to like university and stuff. So after that, I've joined a VC firm. I've showed them like my experiences with deal sourcing and like things I know about due diligences. I've joined a VC firm for a while, but then I realized if I want to like continue this investment side, and if I want to be a better investor, I need to go back into trenches like you guys and experience like things in real time. So right now I'm in trenches, like full-time crypto, full-time trenching, and I'm really like try to learn to be a better thinker, try to be an original thinker, and yeah, that's it.
Nice, dude. Nice. Well, we're gonna get into everything about you. We want to see how you trade. Give us some of your strategies,
Yeah, yeah.
helping people out, kind of
Actually,
stuff.
I've made a pitch deck for today. I just want to talk about like ICM, because like you guys are focused on ICM, and like I wanted to like give a shout out to you guys for like talking about ICM, because like we this is exactly what markets needs right now.
This
And
is the biggest show, the biggest ICM show out there. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So great job by you guys. And yeah, that's it.
Well,
So
Somo, be prepped,
can I
man.
share
We love
my
that.
screen? Can I share my screen?
Absolutely. Down at the bottom, you see a. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
great. So today I
This is
want to talk
awesome.
about, yeah, yeah. Today I want to talk about internet capital market, or what we call it ICM, and why I believe this is not just another meta and an actual regime shift in crypto. But before we go deeper, let's first answer the most obvious question. What the fuck is ICM? Everyone keep using this word, but if you take a step back, and it's actually pretty simple. It's just a new way for money to meet opportunity, using token instead of equity, and using open rails instead of gated banks or VCs. If you break it down, the basic of capital markets have always been about two things. First, people who need money, like founders, builders, and entrepreneurs, and people who got money, like traders, investors, and savers. So capital markets are just a system that connect these two groups. Traditionally, these markets are centralized, gated by banks, VCs, and like exchanges. We all know this shit. But the point here is like where ICM changed the game completely. ICM flipped this with permissionless, borderless, and composable market. I'm sorry, Tolly got a quote. He says that ICM is like Linux for finance. You know,
Mm,
like in
interesting.
and in ICM, like anyone can raise capital with launching a token. Anyone can invest with a wallet, of course, internet, and the smart contracts are replacing middlemen, and like rules are transparent and self-enforcing. So ICM isn't just a crypto launchpad with tokens; it's a regime shift in how capital and communities are formed online, or maybe we can say are gonna be formed online. So the code of Linux of finance, it's what I really like, and like Toli said it in one of his pods. This is something like we can use a lot to like. It's a high level concept of explaining about uh, internet capital markets. So, but maybe like some of you guys are thinking right now, is this just another fucking narrative or not? But I believe that like ICMs are the gate to like the tokenized startups. We are going to the era of like tokenized startups, and maybe the start of this whole regime shift was with like vibe coded tokens, or maybe what we call it like meme coins for SaaS tools and stuff. The early days of Beliefs. The early day of Beliefs, the early days of, I don't know, like the whole early days of this thing. So here I got an image by 0x Kyle. He like explained the different like phases of like capital markets in crypto. In the first phase, we had the ICO heaven, where like in the back in 2017, 2018, like there was an ICO bubble, like new tokens were launching. They were just like promising something and like maybe never deliver. And most projects like failed back then. If you were like, I don't, any of you guys were here in crypto back in 2017 or 18?
Class of 2015.
Oh
Chill.
my,
When were you?
I'm 2021, unfortunately. I'm a late. I came later.
I'm a
Dom?
2017er, but not deep entrenched in it. I bought some Bitcoin, bought some ETH, and some other just like altcoins
do
back
you
then.
guys do you guys remember anything about like that phase? Can you explain about how was the like the ICO thing back then?
I
Yeah,
mean, that's what it was. Go ahead, Josh. You're
really,
probably better fit.
I would say it started with the DAO, which was the
Mhm.
first idea of
Yeah,
this concept of an ICO, and it accumulated 5% of ETH's entire supply. Obviously, it went on to get hacked for $60 million, and that's what caused Ethereum's fork, and that's why you see Ethereum Classic out there. That was a wild time. People thought that was the end of Ethereum, actually. And but what they didn't realize, it was actually the beginning. Once we figured out smart contracts could issue what we used to call color tokens, which are just tokens that represent something else, which in this case was the ICOs. It really started a slow snowball,
Mhm.
and things like Chainlink came out of that era. ADA. There's a few big projects that are still there that came out of that era, but it was wild. It's kind of like where we're at now with meme coins, where projects were popping up every minute with a new white paper, new idea.
Great. And like after that, we
But
had like
one thing I will say that contrasts today, back then, exchanges ruled the world. There was no such thing as on-chain infrastructure. So basically what would happen is these projects would raise money, promise a bunch of stuff, and then market makers would take it onto Binance and Poloniex and these trading platforms, Bitfinex, and just rip charts up. And you could actually throw money at a lot of these early ICOs and you made money. Today, with today's meme coin game, if you throw money at 10 meme coins, you're probably going to lose on 9 of them because they're so extractive.
even more.
Even more. So
Yeah,
the odds of winning back in the ICO era were much higher, and people kind of, there was fewer things to trade. So everyone kind of made money. Right. And then obviously the bubble collapsed, and, if you didn't sell, you lost. But it was a time where it was possible for people to make money. I think today with the extraction that we see, bundling, snipers, etc., a tiny, tiny portion of people make money. The rest are losing.
exactly. After that, we had like the VC heaven, and we all know about this. That like, I remember everything about this phase, and like this is where like the high FTV, low flow things happen, and maybe we are still, some of the tokens are still in like this phase, I believe. And after that, we had like the meme coin era. Maybe we can say like things were either pure memes or like very technical narratives. So, but these times, like valuations started to matter, and like this is a very important thing from this era. And in the last era, which we are entering now, and like the whole live stream and like what we all are trying to talk about and try to like learn more about ourselves, is about like the combination of legitimacy and like digital markets. And because right now with this administration, we got regulatory in our side, we got like, I don't know, like we got great firms like from Web2, from like traditional financial markets in our side. And like this is a very great opportunity for like this regime shift, because like the principles of this regime shift is here. That's why right now we can go into this phase. So this is how like startup funding worked traditionally. This is the startup financing cycle, and this is about like a very simple but effective image to explain this. Like when you are a founder, you want to launch something. The first place you go is like either to accelerators or incubators, then like to angels and like seed capitals or family, friends, and stuff to raise money. After that, you got like VCs in like early stage, then like later stage, and like then IPO. We even right now we got this in crypto. It's really, if I want to say an example, like in accelerators, we got like Alan's DAO and like or Delphi Lab or like others. Then you got like different VCs. Some of them just invest earlier stage, some of them just invest like later stage, and then you go to like to ICO, which is like right now, or like maybe like in last 2 years it was like mostly like an exit event, like exit liquidity event for startups. And that's why like most of the tokens are just down only. So this is but like the new startup financing cycle with ICM. And the whole early stack here, seed angels and like the crowdfunding, get into one thing, and that's the token. You can raise directly from the market, you can like distribute ownership day one, and you can like bootstrap your capital and like your community at the same time. And I believe that's a regime shift, and that's why ICM is not just another narrative. It's rewriting the financing of startup fundraising itself. So from here, if you guys got any comment on this, if not, like I just want to go to like the
Yeah,
next.
I have a quick question for you. Like,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
do you think of the Launchpad fair launch model, which we've looped into the ICM bucket? We had
Mhm.
Bibu on from the Solana Foundation, who's actually working on ICM officially for Solana, and
Mhm.
their definition is very much, the traditional capital markets, but on chains, the stuff that Lutnick, really saying, oh, the Commerce Department will issue financial data on chain instantly, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like, how do you think of like fair launch tokens versus like the ICO model itself?
I think like ICM is like decentralization, like when you say decentralization, everyone like are thinking about like different aspect of that. And like when we say ICM, maybe in the trenches, we means like tokenized startups or like fair launching related to a startup which is in its earliest stage. And like the like tokenized pre like IPO tokens also can count as ICM. I don't know, like even like stocks going on chain also is part of the whole ICM. And I think like when you look at the whole startup financing cycle, like when we have like the pre-IPO on chain, when we got the public stocks on chain, we will have like the venture side on chain, because like when you're talking about private equity, okay, private equity is like no one got access to that. If you are not a millionaire, you have no access to private equity. It's mean like you have no access to venture investing. So if you're not a millionaire, you cannot invest like in startups. Or like if you're a retail investor, at least you got access into public market, into like the public stocks. You know what I mean? Like the whole private market needs more like I don't know, retail access, needs more like access. And I think here ICM can be more useful in that side than like the stocks and like other stuff. You know what I mean?
So we actually had Vibu on the show a little while ago to talk about his thoughts on
Mhm.
ICM, and I think that's kind of the takeaway we got is that these private markets have been so inaccessible to most people, and ICM is opening that up in a big way. So again, like the future, it's there's so much to be done. It's hard to even try to predict that, but yeah, you're
It was
spot on.
funny too along this line of thinking is when Bobby last night and Ben were talking about equity versus tokens.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ben
Yes.
basically said, like, what do you need the equity for if you have tokens? Right. Which was an interesting comment. And it kind of said, Ben's point of view is it's more of just where's the value directed at? Is it directed at a piece of paper in a filing cabinet, or is it
Exactly.
directed
We
at
talked
this thing
about
on
this too.
chain?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Ben is thinking that like equity, like we don't need equity. Like tokens are like a new shape of like ownership. Like this is what like Ben is thinking. But like if I wanted to say about like the whole equity, the whole token versus equity like ideas around it, we have like two sides. One side believes that like in the near future with this administration we will have like tokenized equity. This is one idea, and the other one is like the one Ben said is like we don't need equity, and like tokens are like new shape of ownership. If you got a token of something, it's like you got the equity. So yeah, let's see what's happened. But these are like the two main ideas around like the whole ICM. But like the difference between like ICM and like I think other like narratives and like other new things in crypto is like it's more like fundamentals. It's that and it's bigger than like prediction markets are very big, but they are also part of internet capital markets. You know what I mean? So, like the whole internet capital market is a very big thing, and we need lots of things to get done to like I don't know, like to for us to get into like the full vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's a lot of way to go, right? We're
Yeah,
just at
exactly.
we're just at the opening inning.
So, like what I wanted to say and like what I wanted to talk about here in like in this live stream is like what should we do as a traders and investors in ICM? And we've talked about the ICM, why it matters, and why it's not just another narrative. But the truth is, like in the internet capital markets, traders are not just a passive speculators. We are active market participants in this capital formation. That means every time you allocate capital, you are shaping which projects survive. Every time you back a founder, you are bootstrapping attention that might attract a thousands more. And every time you choose patient instead of flipping, you are helping create the condition for a real flywheel. So, because the way we act today uh, determines whichever ICM became like something that failed or a true regime shift. That's why it's time to dream bigger.
And can I even ask this? I feel like firstly, I'm not in the boat that believes ICM will fail at all this cycle. I think this
Mhm.
is the end goal for this cycle. But if
Mhm.
ICM were to fail hypothetically, I mean, we can all agree ICM is here to stay. It's just maybe a little early, if anything, right now. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
Uh, One of my favorite ideas around ICMs comes from like a Kyle article, The Evolution of Speculation. He says there is a massive opportunity for investors to be operating partners alongside teams. So in internet capital market, we need traders and investors in the trenches with the founders your activity, your trading, you're providing liquidity, like everything you are doing, it's gonna help for bootstrapping the product, the startup, like the token. So you're not just funding a company here, you are literally helping to create the market for it. So think about that you own like 5% of a token, or I don't know, 3%, 1%, 10% of something. And you're also helping the project to grow. You are like helping that like startup to be a like 100 million uh, startup, to be $1 billion product, to be $1 billion startup. And that can lead to a great outcome for like you as an investor. This is like you are investing as a like a professional investors in like private equity, in like venture investing. The difference between like private equity and venture investing is like in private equity we got some firms that like they buy something like leverage buyout, or like the buyout, they buy something, or like they merge it with another company, like they buy something and like they change the operation, they change like the whole plan, and like they fire everyone, like they start something new with that. And like I mean here we are kind of act as a like a private market investors. We should try to yap as much as possible about the product. We should also help the founder, not in any way, and like maybe be the loyal customer alongside a loyal investors, a loyal investor. So I got some ideas. For example, like you guys that focus on ICM as like the main live stream, or like the main media around ICM. We need like Substack focuses on ICM podcasters, and like maybe like more Twitter accounts focus on ICM, and like maybe we need like creators on IG and TikTok for ICM, because we need net new buyers, and we should try our best to grow the pie. And like one idea I had is like maybe we can create a moonshot, but just for ICM tokens. Imagine you're downloading an app and you only can see like real startups who are uh, in the on the blockchain, and who got like some specific like checklist, not everything, like moonshot or like centralized exchange who like try to verify, try to like communicate with the team and then list the token over there. Maybe we can launch something like this. And this is a great idea, because like in the near future, not only like maybe believe, maybe we have like other launch pads. Like I was checking Meta the other day, and I think like they are also doing a great job. So this is also an idea if you want to like create net new buyers and like try our best to grow the pie.
So
Uh,
real quick to touch on this too.
yeah, yeah,
I feel like, and we've seen this in the past where we've had DAOs like AI16Z, for example, permissionless, anyone could launch, and then they create an incubator kind of on top of that to incubate projects. I think we're seeing it happen. I mean, we see like ICM.run. I'm not sure if you've been following their stuff. We had Mercy on the other day,
yeah. I
but
know,
like,
I know. I'm
yeah,
also part of it, yeah.
yeah. And if you don't have an NFT, we got you one. Obviously, this is a killer
Yeah, yeah.
presentation.
I really need one.
Well, yeah, okay, then we will get you one for sure. But
So
you're right.
yeah, yeah. We are having a community like ICM.rom, like the Believe GBT that you guys were talking about. I mean, like we need like more. Also, like the Believe Capital, like content on like how founders should launch on Believe was very interesting. I was thinking like maybe we need a guide. Maybe we need like a, I don't know, like a report on how should like ICM investors, ICM traders act. Like
For sure.
because like everyone are just like flip-flopping, they are just selling very fast, like no one is holding. And like Ben Pasternak also talk about this, that we need like believers, and like it's not meme coins, we need like belief coins and stuff. Maybe like you guys and like we all can like start to like create, I don't know, like an explanation and like a complete like report on like if we need like this ICM to like happen, and like if we need like net new creators, we need like a better investors, we need like better traders, and we need also guide on that. So like the also like the moonshot for ICM is a really great idea. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
when you are pitching like the moonshot for ICM to like normies and retailers, you say like you can buy and like startups tokens here, something like Kickstarter, but like for like new early stage startups which got a token.
Do you think that because that's a really good approach. I think those are a lot of really good ideas. But just kind of thinking about the
Mhm.
way some of these crypto narratives kind of permeate CT, and then
Mhm.
it kind of leaks out of CT and goes beyond as like things go viral.
Mhm.
Um, do you think that you know, a part of what could grow this space in terms of attracting new traders is simply just content, really good content from, you know, creators within the ecosystem, things like, you know, this show, you know, writing threads. And I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of times, just like
The new
prediction
podcast.
markets and yeah, just like prediction markets and John Wang, right? Like John Wang has done tons of write-ups around prediction markets. And now it's now becoming this thing that is permeating CT, but also leaked outside of CT, and everyone is starting to see the potential. And I think this is the path that ICM is on, and we're kind of these early adopters that are just seeing the opportunity, and we're able to articulate it in a way that people can understand and digest. And so it's really just a matter of explaining the opportunity set, and then all of these other things will follow, like all of these, you know, creators on IG and TikTok, apps will start to launch. Like, I'm pretty sure, you know, at some point there might be a founder that even thinks of a moonshot for ICM, right? But I think overall this is a viral enough opportunity, and when people actually take a look at it, they'll realize the potential and want to be involved in whatever way. So they leverage their own skills, whether that is writing, messaging, creating content, creating applications, creating companies that kind of push this narrative forward.
So like the question is here um, is this a narrative or an actual regime shift? If I wanna like explain this better, uh, one of the Pantera GPs uh, had a pod. Let me share my screen. Can you guys see it right now?
Yeah,
I
we're good.
really like
Actually,
part, and I just want to share it with you guys.
I actually tell my analysts to never use the word narrative ever with me, because I think it's like really it's sort of like narrative is this way for humans. In my view, for humans to like shortcut the brain and like just say like, oh, it's like, you know, something, it's like this thing, when in reality it's a much more complex system. And I do think there's a big so there's a lot of things that go into it, but there's a question of time horizon, as well as like uh, likely there's truth behind quote unquote narrative that's driving action. And so, you know, I actually don't. I think the market in short and, you know, over very short time frames tends to move on narratives, or it's very easy to use that to backwards explain why things happen. But I do think the reality is that on average and over time, the more fundamentally sound tokens are very clearly outperforming the not fundamentally sound tokens. We do this, you know, I sort of have this stable of name. I think of my investment universe as everything that I think is fundamentally sound, and it's of the top 400 tokens, maybe 75, 80 tokens that might fit that category. And that 75 to 80 tokens, you know, has outperformed the not fundamentally sound tokens by on the order of 20 or 30% this year on average. Well, that sounds like that's like a massive number in TradFi. It's like a okay number
Right.
in crypto. People sometimes get it lost in the wash, but that's like
Yeah.
a massive number. And so the true reality is that yes, like quote unquote narrative storylines drive a lot of short term price action, but the real data suggests that no, it's actually fundamentals matter a lot. Actually,
So the reason I shared this was that like I see the ICM as a like a regime shift and as the only like answer and the only solution we got uh, for like the new capital formation. and it's gonna happen, but like maybe not with Believe, maybe not like with MetaDAO, maybe not right now, maybe like tomorrow a uh, World War III started, and like we all forgot this. Okay, but like 6 months from now, a year from now, we realize, okay, like the VC model is not working anymore. You need network. You need like lots of things to be able to raise from VCs, especially when there isn't lots of money in the world in the hand of VCs, because they also got like the cycle. It's tied to like the business cycle. It's tied to like the macro cycle. But like when you are going to the when we are talking about ICM, like because it's a global thing, it's not just related to a specific country, like such as United States, or like a specific kind of firm, such as like VCs. It's gonna be easier to raise fund. It's gonna be easier to attract uh, investors, because like the pie is bigger. You know what I mean? And because there's no limit. So the point that like people like now know how to buy tokens, know how to buy meme coins. This is like the main reason I believe that in the next 2 years, 1 year, maybe like next 4 years, we will get to like these dreams. And like the next slide is about, did I like explain what I want to say? Did you guys understand my thoughts or no?
Yeah, yes, you did. And I actually, can we just double tap on a few things here just to
Of
finish
course.
this slide off? Yeah,
Of course. I also like I also wanted to say another thing,
go for it.
and you asked me about like, mm, you asked me about like which kind of content do we need to like to make like the ICM meta or like these new startups tokens viral. And I also have something else for you. There's a like a 2 minutes video from like Mark Anderson on what he thinks about like barbell era of attention. And let's listen to this. And
there's a concept we talk a lot in business.
after like this 2 minutes, you can understand which kind of content we need to attract like net new buyers. And I will also talk
We call
about
the barbell, or we call death of the middle, which is you as sort of as industries mature, you tend to start with things that are kind of a certain level of scale, a certain level of complexity, depth, price, whatever, and then markets tend to polarize, and then you tend to get this barbell effect where the things in the middle start to die, and then you basically have the rise of the edges. And so the classic example of this is retail shopping. You used to have general stores and then department stores that had a pretty good selection of pretty good things at pretty good prices. And then over the course of the last 30 years, all of those kind of general purpose stores, department stores have gotten wrecked and replaced by barbell. On the barbell, that you got Walmart and Amazon on the one side of the barbell, which is just massive selection that no department store can match at lower prices and higher scale. And then you've got the boutiques. You've got the Gucci store and the Apple store on the other side, selling something very specific and unique, often at much higher prices. And so one of our observations for a long time has been that tends to happen in many different industries. It turns out I think that's what's happening in media formats right now. The cliche of our time is that attention spans are collapsing, and this is the rise of social media and TikTok and short form video. And so the cliche is, and you hear this constantly, is kids only want to watch 2-minute videos and the whole thing. Well, so it turns out I think it's actually the barbell. Kids want to watch either 2-minute videos or 3-hour Rogan episodes. Right, it's the barbell, right? And what is the 3-hour Rogan episode or Lex Friedman episode have going for it? It doesn't have that thing where we're just when it starts to get interesting, we're going to leave it there. You can actually fully articulate a point of view on any topic, and part of this is the no gatekeepers thing, and so the range of topics has expanded a lot. But part of it is you can actually talk for a long time. And I think what basically that format has uncovered is there's actually tremendous hunger in the country and in the world for actual long form intelligent commentary. And so anyway, like I find this to be like extremely encouraging. Like I think it turns out that there are a large number of people who have actually been starving for real discussion and real content. I think there's a corollary to this, which is I think the jury's in now. I think you can make the claim television makes you dumb in a really fundamental way, because like literally it cuts off all the interesting conversations right as they're about to get interesting. It kind of has to be intellectually impoverishing as a consequence of the structure of the business and of the format.
So
That's an awesome clip, by the way, and I did see that this morning, so I appreciate you bringing that up.
so like if I want to like explain this very like if I want to simplify this, I want to explain this in a very simple term, is if we want to attract the attention of net new buyers, we need long form and deep content, such as like the Ben Pasternak podcast. The reason like the reason like Heavendex and like Light had lots of attention for that time was like what was the name of the founder? I forgot.
Peace.
Peace, yeah. It was because of his long like form of articles. And like
Yes.
but like Ben in the ICM group, Ben said this a lot, like two times, I guess. He said like I'm not really good in writing, but now he start to like podcasting, and I think like podcasting is also a great way, because like this is in the same category as like long tweets. It's a deep kind of content, and if we want to attract net new buyers, for make them believing, okay, for make them like you guys need to believe in this shit, we need like long and like deep content. And if we want to just like track them, we need like short like viral clips on like TikTok, on like YouTube videos, on like this kind of stuff. Because the difference here in ICM than like meme coins era is, back then in like meme coin times, you didn't need like the deep content, because what the fuck you wanted to explain in like
Yeah, how it's
podcast.
funny because like all those meme coin spaces, they're
Exactly.
talking about nothing for like 2 hours.
Dude,
Exactly.
it's AIDS.
But the difference
So
here,
cringe.
exactly. But here we can talk about like dupe. We can talk about like, I don't know, the polyclue and like
Yeah.
whole prediction.
Real
We could go
things that matter.
literally, yeah, we
Exactly.
could go to like Dupe's Google review page and literally read out reviews for like an hour.
This is a way that like you are doing a professional due diligences, but
Yes.
for everyone, for like for retails, to like convince that you guys need to buy this. So the difference between the ICO and like the meme coins in like the growth marketing strategies is like we need both. We also need long form of content, and we also need like short form of content. So like the answer to that question is this: if we want to have like net new buyers, we need the combination of both. Like I don't know, like last week I saw a tweet from Vogue founder. He said that like we are paying a lots of money to clippers. And that was like, I was thinking like this is the exact thing that Mark Anderson said. Okay. And like if we want to have like, I don't know, like net new buyers, net new builders, Evan, we need like clips of like Ben Pasternak talking about that. I don't know, like specific, I don't know, interesting ICM project or like these kind of things. And maybe if you want to build, like you guys, if you want to build a media company related to like ICM, you guys need to have both of these categories. Like Treat Guy is exactly doing the same. In timeline, you are seeing clips of Treat Guy's live streams, and you can also go on Twitch and see like the whole long format of the content. That's why he is like doing great. If you guys really need to start clipping, and I think like the combination of like both can be great for anything. If you are doing marketing in today's world of crypto, this is the way. And like as someone which is comes from like the crypto community, a crypto marketing community, I can say like these days crypto marketers are really focused on TikTok. And you can go, for example, Emily. She is like one of the greatest marketers in crypto. She's CMO at Hype agency, and they have a specific team just for TikTok, and they are really working on that. And Kaito also, like, they are experimenting things on like TikTok and stuff. I'm saying that like maybe in crypto we got long form of content on some stuff. We need like short form of content too. This is the way like Gen Zs and like maybe other generation are like.
Yo, you're speaking our language. We actually have a clipper that we brought on board at the beginning of August, and he's been doing some of this. Our YouTube page now, some of our clips about like Avi from Cled talking about how he's gonna hire people from McDonald's to, or replace those McDonald's jobs. You can make more money on Cled than working at McDonald's live streaming. Like those clips on YouTube have. Our account has 0 followers, and those clips have over 1K views. A few of them have even more. So it's starting to happen. We're kind of new to outside of X, but our clips on X have hundreds of thousands of views. Oh yeah, we're on TikTok now. There we go.
Yep.
We have a
3K followers. That's in like a month. That's pretty good.
What? How many followers?
I haven't even looked at the 67K likes, 3,000 followers, and
3,000 followers. Oh my god!
No,
huge.
No way.
Yeah, look.
What the?
What?
What?
Wait a second. Wait. That's kind of news to me. I didn't realize it was 3K.
What?
Oh my god! This is great, man.
It's hard to.
Shout out to you guys.
What the hell?
Yo,
I know.
Nick Wenzel, if you're on this from Believe, like, bro, we got it. We got you.
Yeah, that's sick, bro. Shout out, Mooney, our clip.
I was thinking that like maybe you guys should change that the brand of micro cap. It's really like hard to explain it to like normies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should like talk on this later. But like, let's go to the next slide.
Now, well, tell me this though. But do you like TBPN? Do you know what TBPN stands for?
No, but they got the audio, you know what I mean?
I know. I
bought
align
an
with this,
mcg.live domain name, and it cost me a lot of money. So we're committed.
It's gonna work now. Yeah.
Like the last slide is about. I guess you wanted to ask something, right?
Yeah. So back to your narrative point. Can you go back a slide? Okay. Yeah. No, to the one you were on last before you just flipped it. Like your second last.
A second last.
Yeah. So I'm gonna share actually my screen real quick and get your take on this, because I think the first clip you showed, the guy talking about fundamentals or a narrative, and like we've obviously had a lot of people. Sorry, I'm just gonna toggle you on, make sure you're showing. So we've had a lot of founders on our show, and kind of we boiled down the fundamentals that we look at around these kind of ICM startups to these 5 things. So I'll just read them out: timing, tech, tokenomics, and then chart and founder. And we find that people like and want to hear more about these. So timing could be an example of the PRGN token for Paragon is being integrated into an app with tens of thousands of downloads, and they just got all these like things happening, these catalysts. Tech is, hey, it's a great product, it works and has users. Tokenomics is now they have pioneered where if you buy their services, they take that revenue and buy the PRGN token and burn it, right? And they've burned 2% of their supply in the first month of doing this. So it's massively deflationary. Then chart looks good. And then lastly, it's like people, when founders come on our show and talk, people get to like see into their soul. Like, are these people real? Are they bullshitting? Like, you can't get on our show and talk for an hour and have analyst Dom, trader technicals Chill, and business Josh pick your brain, and like you're not going to survive for an hour if you got it. Because I care about my viewers more than I care about random founders. I can have any founder on the show, maybe soon. We're not quite that big, but we can have anyone on the show talk for an hour. But what I care about is our audience getting information and seeing through a founder's potential BS and really seeing if they have a good business. That's what I care about.
This is very important.
Yeah.
So maybe on these 5 buckets, like if you were to rearrange these priorities or speak on them or add, like what would you think about? Like how would you review these?
Like the point in the ICM is like you need to have like the venture investing like view, and also like the, I don't know, like the equity investor view, the public market investor view. But you need the combination of both. But if I just wanted to talk about as a venture guy, as like a venture analyst guy, and like when you listen to like VC's pods, and like the main way, the first principle of like thinking about an idea, thinking about the future of something, they have like 3 key things. The first one is market, the second one is product, and the third one is team. Like some VCs, they really care about team. The others like may just care about market. For example, it's in if for example right now in prediction market, people are just want to bet on something, and like sometimes it's about the team. For example, like Ben Pasternak, I can assure you, if you when you like start to research about Ben Pasternak, you will realize the reason like maybe Alex Ohanian like once says that when I should launch on Launchcoin, I'm sure he got no idea about Launchcoin, but because like he was investor in the Ben Pasternak last startup, he's sure that like Ben is doing something like big and something that matters. So if you guys like want to have like, I think we need like 2 framework for like evaluating startups here. One, the venture side, and the other one is like the public view side. You know what I mean? The public market side. So in the venture side, we need these 3. The view on the market. For example, if like the Polyclue is a token in the prediction market, we need to talk about the future of prediction market and the thesis related to prediction market. This is about the market. The second thing about is like the product. The product, what's the product? Like which kind of product we can benchmark this to. For example, Polyclue is a Telegram bot. Like it remind us of like the trading Telegram bot like Banana and like others. So we can like compare that to those, and also like the founders. And you guys can be the main source for the founders. Like in the ICM group, someone says that like I'm listening to the microgem pods with the Believe founders, and it's the only source right now. And I think this is a very great like opportunity for you guys to like be the only source to understand the founders, to get the vibe. Because like what do you think VCs does? They just go and talk for like 1-2 hours with the founders, and like but they know how to like ask like deep questions, how to ask like indirect question to understand like the the real purpose behind building that startup. So if I want to create a framework, I will create first an equity side of a venture side of framework, and the second one is the public side of the token side of the liquid side of framework, which you need to like talk about like the tokenomics as you said, and maybe like the timing thing really matters. And yeah, I should think more about the liquid side, but in the venture side I think like these uh, 3 things matters a lot.
Chill. I want to get your take on some of this stuff because you've been doing this a while.
I mean, what specifically would you want me to comment on? I'll ask that first, Josh.
Everything.
Yeah, well, let's go back to this
Because there's a few layers to peel back.
Let's go to this framework. Like, how do you feel about these 5 buckets? And then I think, Somo, what you're saying is
We need to
should
change
look-
the tech to product, because like what does tech mean? You know what I mean? Because like
Okay.
here they have product, okay? Because like you are investing in product, and like the product matters, not the tech. It's not like an infra, like you're not like analyzing an infra project, and like because the tech is not like the advantage here. It's the whole product. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about like? Sorry, Chill. Just to riff on the specific name change, and then I'd love to get your your thoughts. And what about instead of tech, we label it business? So whatever activities that are generating value, whether it be a product, service, whatever, or do you think it should be specific to product?
I actually like that. It encapsulates a little bit more because in my personal opinion, tech product essentially same thing. They're kind of interchangeable, if you will, because you can't have a product without some sort of underlying technology to power said product, right? And we dig into that to kind of get a sense of, is it user friendly? What's the product market fit, et cetera, et cetera. But I think zooming out to encapsulate a little bit more of just overall business model, value generation, that can be encapsulated with business, right?
I,
Um,
Mhm.
but I like that. I like that actually.
I think business is the combination of product and the market. Because like ICM tokens are in different fields, are in different categories, and when you are investing in them, you are kind of like invest in that category. You are bullish on that category. That's the reason you're investing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like you can like say business to it, but like business is a combination of product and the market. If you got the best product in like the worst market, what's the point?
And I think and I think that's kind of my point. When you zoom out, you look at you think of it as looking at the business, you look at the model, what's generating value, what drives that value generation, whether is it a good market that drives that value generation, do they have a lot of users, do they have a strategy to grow their customer base, things of that nature. I think that's what you should be looking at.
This is
But
a great
yeah.
conversation, by the way. Like I absolutely, and I think we're getting to the like the lowest common denominator, the brass tacks of what we want to see in ICM and how to evaluate things. There's
Mhm.
frameworks you can add here, like within market and business, you can put different, revenue metrics, and there's other metrics you can throw in these buckets, but I think those 5 buckets, if I would like to have 5 buckets, no more than this,
I
right?
think like there is no reason to like talk about chart because like these are like very like small capital.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know. This key, chill,
Because like
chill.
it's like personally,
So yeah, go
let
ahead.
me say
Mhm.
something. Sorry. Personally, like I view like chart in the execution part of my process. I got a judgment process, I got an execution process. Like chart is in the execution process. Like if something in ICM got a great chart and like the product is not good, or like I don't know, like I don't like the tech, or like the founder is not good, I'm not gonna invest. For example, I'm talking about myself. So like personally, I got like the judgment first, and then like in the execution side, yes, of course, chart matters a lot. I really care about that, or I really try to like see like the top holders and like who is holding how much, and like what's the tokenomics and how things are going. But like in the first side, in the first step, I really care about the judgment and I really care about the market. And the reason I believe you should talk about the product and market in a different ways, in a different like topics, is, for example, Polyclue. This is the best example. Right now, there is no liquid bet on like prediction market beside like 5 or 6 tokens. And the reason people are like buying Polyclue, they are buying PMP exchange tokens, is there is no liquid bets. That's why like the market matters a lot. You know what I mean? So this is the reason I think you should like have a separate category for like the market and the product and like the other stuff.
So to your point, Polycule right now it's picking up traction due to the market's interest in that sector, right?
Yes,
Um,
the main
would it
reason is that.
mhm, the main reason?
Yes, the main reason is that like there is no like legitimate liquid bets because beside like Polyclue and like Flipper. You know what I mean? Because Polyclue is backed by Alan's DAO, and like maybe one of the main reasons, like I don't know, like 2 months ago when they just launched, uh, one of the thesis behind like Polyclue was like Poly market. It's not in the U.S. market, and like Polyclue can be an regulatory arbitrage for like Americans to use Poly market with Telegram. You know, this was like one of the thesis like back then, and so like right now, Poly market is going to the U.S. market, but like Polyclue is like pumping hard. You know what I mean?
So let's put the argument for chart in, and Chill, I'll let you go on this, and then maybe Dom and I have a thesis on this too, but go ahead, Chill.
So I think what you're saying, and what you're saying all about Polycule, I completely agree with. I completely agree with. I think that, however, falls under that piece that you're talking about that is addressing the market. That is under, and Josh, if you want to go back to that tweet, breaking down the different things that we look at, I think that's under timing, right? When you look under, when we talk about the timing, that's when we address, is this the right? So I would agree that maybe there's a reshuffling. There's a reshuffling of these things on the ranking side. So maybe the business comes first, then timing comes after, then tokenomics come after that, then founder, then chart. So maybe chart isn't the most important thing, but I do think it has, you know, it does weigh in on the investment thesis. If I look at a chart and I see that it's like it candled up to like 5 million market cap in the first 2 days, and then it cratered down, and now it's at like 40K market cap, I'm not buying that thing. I don't care what you say about whatever. I need that means there's a hole somewhere else that I need to find.
Or the relative performance, right? Because you can buy Flipper and P-Cool and lose money, right? Even though they check all your other boxes, at the end of the day, we're here to lose money, not be right. Or no, sorry. We're here to make money, not be. I don't care about being right or wrong. Like, I just want to make money, right?
Yeah.
So like people can be right but still lose money. That's my point. Like when you're investing, you can be right on your thesis. You can be right on your analysis. Everything is right about what you're talking about. Things come true in the future. You're right about, but you can still lose money because you didn't buy correctly. And that's what we're saying. When we do our analysis, the chart is kind of that manifestation of like, is there value to be found, or is something overvalued and I'm buying it too expensively?
Now I got the timing. It's a really good like way to like explain why you guys are buying this right now, or why you guys believe it's time for it right now.
Yeah, because that in that piece, you have to consider what's the appetite that the market has for something like this, not only on the trader side, but then also on the consumer client side, depending on whatever the business model is. So yeah, I think Josh has the right idea. Like these 5 things to kind of key in on when it comes to these projects. You consider all of those, and you can put together a thesis that can hold some weight at least.
Exactly.
So we would love to, Somo, like we'd love to work with you on a bit of this, because I think like what you're saying, this webinar was amazing, by the way. I think this is what the trenches needed. And we had someone tweet at us saying like, I love your content, but I still don't like get certain things because I'm not there yet. And this episode was perfect for that. I think if we can level out, I got market. So in this order, 1 through 5, market, timing, tokenomics, founder, and chart. If we can kind of hone in on those things, like I did with Paragon here, I kind of added some analysis for each. And I think this gives people a well-rounded view because they're used to looking at meme coins. They're used to looking at DeFi. They're used to looking at NFTs. They're used to looking at other stuff in crypto that aren't valuing businesses.
Do you guys know about Beat Club? Like,
I'm not familiar.
okay,
I'm not familiar with it.
let me explain something. Like, like when you listen to like liquid funds, they all got lots of problems. Like one of the biggest fun is like there is nothing to buy in crypto for liquid funds right now. Maybe like I've talked to like maybe like two or three funds, and like they all hold like same tokens. The tokens are like Aave, like Syrup, or like Hype, or like Solana, or like Ethereum, or like I don't know, like Care Finance, or like they are just under 10 tokens, or like in general, which is viable for like these entities, because like they are big enough, like they have like the rules that they need to invest, and they are accepted for their LPs, for their limited partners. And but like the whole like liquid funds and like the investors are really looking for tokens. And like maybe after like maybe in these uh administrations, and like if the rule changes, and like there will be lots of liquid funds in crypto. And I want to share something which is like bit club is a club for like liquid fund investors. Okay, you can see the structure that they are analyzing, and like they're talking about liquid tokens. Okay, for example, like lights, like the hyperliquid of Launchpad. This is the introduction, why having like permission fees, and like the structure, like the current revenue metric, and conclusion. If we can have like this kind of content for ICM tokens, like net new buyers, like liquid funds, or I don't know, like different kind of buyers will be here. For example, this is for like ENA. You can see like major catalysts and drivers, token supply and tokenomic updates, and like conclusion, bullish alignment. And for example, this is the whole thesis. And like they are also doing like podcasts with the liquid fund, with the founders tokens, with the founders, sorry. For example, like they've talked to like the Athena founder, they talked to like different founders. And let me share that too. Okay, and these are like the funds in this club. Okay, these are the funds in this club. And let me share you more research. These are the research. No, like let me share their Twitter here, sorry. Okay, here you can see like the interview. For example, here they did with like this is like an interview about like the token. And like this is something very cool. If you guys can do something like this for like the ICM, this can like attract net new buyers, but like maybe more like pro buyers than like retail investors. This is an example that like maybe we need for ICM.
Oh,
And
Duncan from Flood Capital, go up a little bit. So I had Duncan on. Go down, down a little bit, down right there. Yeah, it's talking about Galaxy, baby. Let's go,
Galaxy. You called that out at the lows, man.
Yeah.
Back
So,
in what,
but
May?
Duncan has a huge following, and so I've had him on. Yeah.
right. So like you guys are doing a great job, but like the thing I'm talking about is mostly about like the structure.
Yeah.
And like, how you guys can like create a better structure. And let me talk about like the last slide. And I just
I
wanted
think
to
generally, like we're in agreement with you, and the show is like step by step, kind of gone in this direction because this is what people want, right? So yeah, this is good.
I really like to help, and like maybe we can work on the structure together more. Maybe we can have like more educational stuff. And yeah,
Hey, if you want to have a Somo segment, let's do it.
of course. So I wanted to say that like we have like three main pain points for ICM right now. The regulatory side is like, as I said, we have two schools of thoughts here. The one is like the one side believes that regulation will eventually catch up, and like this administration we will have more clarity. So, and the other side thinks that regulation doesn't matter as much as we think, because equity itself is an old model and tokens are simply a new shape of ownership. This is exactly what Ben said. So in the sniper side, I think like teams like Gavel, although they're not tweeting as much, they're not talking about it at all. But like Tolly, when you listen to like Tolly pods, or like he mentioned Gavel like 3 times like in last month. And I think like maybe they are actually doing something related to like the whole like sniping problem. And also Meteora, and we all know like how great they are and how like innovative they are in this direction. And also like the MetaDAO, I don't know, like, do you guys know anything about them? Like they've just launched a new kind of ICO, and I don't remember the name. Let me share my screen. Uh, MetaDAO, yeah, and yeah, this is MetaDAO. Yeah, this is, they call it unruggable ICOs, and it's like first Futarchi, am I pronounced it right? Futarchi government investment. Futarchi ICO. They call it Futarchi ICO. And like this unruggable ICO is like Futarchi ICOs. And I think they are also doing like some great job. Omniper was the first token with this kind of ICOs. If I want to explain like how like this thing works, is like you join the ICO, and like when you buy the ICO, you got the vote. It's a DAO. You can vote that like how much the team can like spend this month. You know, for example, the team will have a runaway each month on like 5% or like 4% of the whole capital, and like token holders vote for like that can the team have the access to fund or not? You know what I mean? So that's why they call it unruggable ICO. And like the whole concept is a very new thing. And like if you track them and track their socials, they've been talking about this a lot. And also Tolly wants to tweet about them. So I think they are also a good team working on like the sniper problem beside like Gavel. And also like about the last thing that we've talked a lot today, it's net new builders and investors. So I think we need more people, we need more founders, we need more traders, we need we need like people who take ICM seriously, and that's on us. We should create like communities, we should like talk more, we should like yap more about the whole narrative, yap more about the whole thesis, and try to like attract net new builders, net new buyers. And yeah, that's it. If we don't expand the pie, like the whole meta dies early. And if we do, this becomes the foundation of next cycle. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Foundation of this
absolutely.
cycle.
Yeah, foundation of this cycle.
No, dude. Yeah, that's a great presentation. Fabian made a great point. He said, "Nice ICM presentation. Can you upload it after the stream? I would love for you guys to go follow Somo. Someone drop Somo's Twitter in the chat, please, and
Of
go
course.
follow him. And then Somo, you said you would upload this later, or
Yeah, I will share it in my Telegram channel.
awesome.
Perfect.
And yeah, that's it, guys. It was a
Now you
great
came
talk.
fully prepared with the presentation, man. That was
Dude,
Yeah, yeah.
I love the visuals.
I
I
was
love
I
more
the
was
like
visuals.
that.
thinking like I need to like talk about something like more like serious thing, because we need more, like, I don't know, we need more explanation, we need more deep talk on like this kind of stuff. And because like the only way right now is like Twitter, long tweets and stuff, we need like more interviews and like more talks on this kind of stuff.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Do
And
you
I
have
think, you know,
anything that you're currently invested in that you would like to talk about? Like what are you looking at in terms of
I'm
ICM?
I'm really into Flipper. Like I'm really into Flipper and Polyclue, of course. I have kind of full ported the whole prediction market like
Yeah.
a week ago, and I also like did great with like football.fun because like I was early on that and like I exited at a very good time. So yeah, that's it. I think like the whole prediction market, it's something very like mm, in the first, if you want to have like a first principle view on like prediction market, it's something that it's here to stay. It's not going to be a short-term narrative. And I also think like even AI is not dead. You can see like in the past like 3 months we had lots of AI runners on Base or even on Solana. Like they were mostly like utilities related AI tokens, not just like I don't know, like not just like meme AI agent token. You know what I mean? So even AI is not dead, but like I really think the prediction market as something very like big, and I'm personally bullish on like ICM and like prediction market, but like ICM is a very general thing. When you're talking about ICM, you're also talking about like launchpad war, you're also talking about like the regulatory, and you're talking about lots of things at the same time. And it's the vision, I think. And yeah, so Flipper, Polyclue, and that's it for now on the
Nice.
side.
I mean,
well,
those are
look,
both up quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
honestly, the entire eco is catching a bid right now, and the trenches are officially migrating to Believe Eco as we speak, literally happening right
As we
now.
speak. Look at okay,
So
that's going I mean, everything's up 20,
Toss up
30%.
launch coin.
yeah, actually, I wanted to talk about this as well.
There is
Let me
a
share
there
my
is a
screen.
Oh man, it's
Transition
100 mil back to 100 mil pretty quick.
Oh my
just like
God.
that,
Holy shit.
just like that. So as you guys can see, we formed this multi-month falling wedge pattern, and it's a super bullish reversal pattern. Um, and we're literally imminently about to break out, right? And I think that's an effect of just like what you talked about on on the stream today, Somo, just effective communication, kind of coming out with long form content that appeals to viewers and gives them the information and arms them with the knowledge that they need to make to just be bullish on this sector, but also have uh, aligned long term views on ICM, and just again just bringing more people in that kind of see the vision, right? And this little pump that we see today is not just launch coin. It's over the entire eco, and not just Believe, but just ICM in general. I know that PVS isn't Believe, but broke out and retest of a downtrend, which was a multi-week downtrend. Same thing with stuff like Viva. We see that bouncing hard off the bottom. Bitcoin is a really good example, actually, but
Going dumb.
Dupe, KNet, um, and these are charts that we've talked
KNet
about.
going stupid.
Stupid right now.
Up
And
100,
what I
100 plus
like,
percent.
and Bitcoin here is literally the same as Launchcoin, multi-month falling wedge and imminent breakout. But these are projects that we've talked about on these spaces. Paragon as well, nice little breakout there. So headed above a million. So there's a lot of these projects. You see the green on the screen, right? Orgo up 25%, Waterminder up 24%. You have even some of the meme coins like RIP VC up 22% since yesterday. And there are others as well. Like Ben Pasternak yesterday mentioned this meme called
Yeah.
Yourself. and this is also catching a crazy bid, right? So we see the entire ecosystem kind of light up around this absolutely wonderful long form content that is able to give everyone the information and the confidence that they need to step into this ecosystem and potentially even stay here. So it's something I'm probably going to highlight on Twitter at some point, but really good to pay attention to now. So for anyone that's been listening to these streams, listening to us yap about ICM, I think now is the time to, definitively take a position, both vocally and potentially even with capital in these markets. Obviously, make your own decisions, but I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, dude, and I'll add to this. I'll touch on this point too. We see everything's up 30, 40, 50%, 100% in the Believe eco. And we've touched on it before on this show, right? It's a very simple metric. We had a lack of volume and attention, and so we said it only takes a little bit for everything to kind of just pop off and go crazy. And so we see today these micro caps, these tokens that have had no volume, no action for weeks and months get 100K, 200K, 300K of volume, and they're up 50, 60, 100%. So it's not necessarily a matter of trying to time the bottom or throwing some sharp patterns up. It's a matter of, volume coming into the trenches. And that's just all we're seeing today for Believe.
Yeah, man. So really, really excited for future of ICM, future of Believe, what's to come. Somo, I know you have to get going, but look, we appreciate you coming on the show and sharing with us the full presentation, man. I mean, it was amazing to you just kind of get your thoughts on the space, get some feedback on the show as well. And we'll probably end up reaching out to you at some point, and maybe we can kind of further this conversation.
Get a
But
group chat started.
yeah,
Yeah, we can definitely. I'll do that right now as soon as we get off.
Thanks,
sounds
man.
good.